What's up? It's Logan, the drunken metalhead who muses, and we're going on a little journey today over a rainbow, which is probably the most metal thing you can do, right? But this is a response video to a thread started by Wandering Souls Webzine. So, quick shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for the inspiration for this and for sharing your idea. And another quick shout out to Life Eternal and his YouTube channel. This is where I saw the video first, and I enjoyed his response. I was like, I could do that while enjoying a beer or two. So the purpose of this video was to kind of focus in on the art and just how much color, plays a role in cover art and making it certain cover art really stand out. And I think metal is the perfect example of just how much one color in particular can make or break an album cover, and really the album overall, because with certain colors come certain emotions and feelings and moods that the album can kind of encompass. And I think this idea for this video can really bring out some of these moods and themes from not just the album covers but the music found within the albums as well. So I definitely wanted to be a part of this and kind of put my 2 cents on some of the albums that could be paired with the colors of the rainbow. So first off, we're going to start with the color red. But first, behind the scenes stuff. I am enjoying a Giggle Juice from Unknown Brewing. Here's the can, which I crushed in my enjoyment of the music we're currently listening to. Which is, it's kind of like a B-side or a runner-up for the color red for this video. And it's The Burning by The Crown, or I think they're still called Crown of Thorns when this initially came out, but really great savage melodic death metal. Now, on to the actual entries for the color red. So, first up, we've got kind of an underrated band, or maybe an unheard of band, Skinfather. This is their album, None Will Mourn. And this is kind of like very visceral, hardcore tinged death metal. I kind of think of Black Breath a little bit, maybe stuff a little more, maybe some power trip in there too, kind of, but it's absolutely crushing. And just look at the album cover, fire, lava, it perfectly encapsulates the angry music within, as does my next pick, Skinless, Only the Ruthless Remain. Now, I mean, as soon as I was looking for albums that had red as the color theme, I knew I had to pick this one. This is like a literal lava hellscape, complete with a red Grim Reaper right here. So, absolute no-brainer, and it matches the music found within. This is kind of Skinless's comeback album, and this is some very riff-oriented death metal, but still has a brutal, bludgeoning side as well. And to make the Skinless album even sweeter, you gotta check out this vinyl color that I have on for it. Holy shit. This is one of my favorite vinyl colors that I own. It looks like a literal flamethrower on this side, and then lava on this side. Awesome record, awesome music. Continuing our journey up our rainbow, we are now at the color orange. This is probably one of the toughest ones in my vinyl collection to like kind of narrow down to find actual colors. Like, is this orange? I don't really know. It's brownish orange, I guess. I'm gonna count it though. Of course, as you can tell, this is Gojira, L'Enfant Sauvage, which is actually my favorite Gojira album that they've made, and I find this to be a absolute masterpiece. It's got their most concise songwriting, some of their catchiest songs. I mean, The Gift of Guilt, Mouth of Kala, Explosia, the opening track. If I kept going, I would just name every single song, but definitely my favorite by this now huge metal band. So, had to mention that. And then the other orange album I have is not super orange on the cover. You can kind of see with the strings stabbing into this poor soul right here. Those are orange, but it's orange on the spine, and as you'll see, the record is orange. So you know. But this is the band Lumbar with their album The First and Last Days of Unwelcome. And this is actually a supergroup featuring Aaron Edge, Mike Scheidt of Yob, and Tad Doyle of course, Tad. And maybe the one name you don't recognize out of those three I listed was Aaron Edge, but he's originally from Himza. I found out after doing some research, which I actually do have some of their albums. Himza and the Brothers of the Sonic Cloth. And this album is a little more traditional doom with some modern, like, kind of Yob, pallbearer kind of moments in there. But definitely slow and agonizing, but still upbeat enough that it's not like Warning or, you know, Funeral Doom. But this Lumbar is apparently an album specifically about Aaron Edge and his lumbar, you know, surgeries that he had on his spine throughout his life, and how just the pain and everything that went along with that. And I just found that out like 15 minutes ago after doing some research about this. So goes to show you don't always know what you have in your collection. But here, this is the real reason that record was included in this video. Now that's fucking orange. I got it right finally. Alright, next up we're on to the color yellow, which was kind of a hard color to narrow down in my collection as well. But at least I had Painkiller by Judas Priest to fall back on if I couldn't find anything. So, anyway, the first album I have is probably one of my favorite gimmick bands ever. This is Trappist with their album Ancient Brewing Tactics, and these fucking guys are a supergroup from California that play kind of a power violence, hardcore, just kind of groovy, definitely, you know, there's definitely metal in here as well, but they play that kind of music all centered around craft beer. I just fucking love it. Every single second of it. I just enjoy, especially on, you know, days like today where I'm gonna have a couple beers. In fact, in honor of them, let me get another one. But no, that album, Ancient Brewing Tactics, is highly recommended. Songs like To the Pint, No Soldier Left Behind. Yeah, don't pour out those empties, boys. Victim of a Bomber Raid. Frank the Tank. Wolves in the Tap Room. This Means Wart. Swignorant. Phenomenal album. Cheers, guys. The other Yellow album I have is actually another one starring Mike Scheidt, who I mentioned earlier from that Lumbar record. This is his big band, Yob, with one of their earlier records that was reissued on Relapse. Got probably mid 2010s, like 2013 for some reason, or 2014 comes to mind. But this is Catharsis. This is, of course, not the original album cover that it had. I'm not specifically sure what that one looked like off the top of my head, but the new and improved reissue right here. And it's really just 3 songs clocking in at like almost an hour. And the title track is just an epic 28-minute Yob song. I love Yob, so this album is no problem for me at all. And of course, is it yellow? No, but gotta have a vinyl to pair with it. Kind of a gold vinyl right here. Alright, there's yellow. From yellow, we move on to green. So, this one was kind of hard to, but definitely easier than yellow and orange were. For my first pick, I gotta go with Pandemonium, with their album Cahoos and Confusion. And if you've never heard of Pandemonium, this is a Dan Swano project with his brother, I believe, though you never know that, as all their names are like Winter, Morning, Day Dithra, Derelict, and of course Aga. But Don Swano is in this for sure, and you can tell because this is like some kind of crazy avant-garde but still firmly death metal album. There's insane, like, super psychedelic keyboards all over this thing, super like uplifting keyboard sections too, and just the structure of the songs are kind of all over the place, though at the same time they still form a very cohesive journey. Either way, this album is a phenomenal trip, so I would highly recommend Pandemonium. Alright, the other album is a Black Dahlia Murder record, and I mainly picked it because I have to salute the Black Dahlia Murder for just really nailing in on color themes and how they relate to album themes overall. Like, if you look back through their discography, the Black Dahlia Murder have a great propensity to pick a color for an album and just like stick with it. You get some kind of Necrolord kind of album covers, and just some covers that really encapsulate the color that they're going with. And their latest album, Verminous, is the perfect green album. Look at this, like a toxic sludge green theme over this thing. I mean, the music reflects it with, you know, songs specifically about shit that crawls underneath your feet and kind of the toxic stuff that you would never want to touch. I mean, Verminous, the title track, The Werewolf's Feast, Dawn of Rats, those great songs off this album, which kind of, it's a traditional Black Dahlia Murder album, though I think there's a bit more penchant for melody in here, and kind of just slower songs at times, which is cool as a big Black Dahlia Murder fan. Unfortunately, the record itself is not green, but it's still pretty cool, so I'm going to pull it out and show it. It's a nice smoky gray. The next color we're on is blue, and pretty easy, pretty straightforward for this one. Like the album covers I have are definitely blue, very blue. Surprisingly, no Necrolord though, so dropping the ball on that one. First up, I have Demon with their album, The Unexpected Guest. Now, Demon is a new wave of British heavy metal band that came right in the early 80s, along with, of course, Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Raven and Saxon and stuff. I've always found Demon to be a bit more commercial leaning than those other bands, especially on this album. But honestly, I really appreciate that about their sound, Like, there's so many great hooks on this album. Of course, Don't Break the Circle is probably their most well-known song, but they also have just super catchy hooks on like Total Possession, Victim of Fortune, Strange Institution, and then Beyond the Gates as well. So, great album, and really bluesy guitar work on here too. Their guitarist is phenomenal as well. I don't know what the hell that is on the album cover. I'm pretty sure that's a bodybuilder made to look like a demon, but it's blue, so it counts. Alright, next up we have a significantly newer release. This is Chemist with their 2016 album, Hunted. And, I guess this is more of like an indigo than a blue, but fuck, I can't see color that well. I'm colorblind, so it looks blue to me. This is my favorite album by Chemist. Hunted is a fucking masterpiece. Every single song kicks ass. Specifically, I gotta, give compliments to Three Gates, which just is a barn burner. Just heavy, like, D-beat death metal parts, and then still their epic doom parts as well. And then the title track, the 16-minute long, or is it 11-minute long, Hunted. But it's one of those songs that is legitimately, spine-chilling. Like, you get goosebumps listening to it. Their best album for sure. And it's also on blue vinyl. So I had to show it off. Look at this thing. Well, this is it, the final color of the rainbow, as far as I can tell. Purple. This one was actually a lot easier than I expected to come up with. I had these two and then a couple backups as well pretty quickly, so I wasn't sure about that one. The first one, though, I'm going to go with is Alcest with their album Kodama. And this is their 2016 album, and probably one of my favorite albums to come out of the 2010s. To me, this is a masterpiece. Every single second off of this 35-minute album is perfect. It's beautiful. It's somehow visceral at the same time. No one has done the post-black metal, black gaze thing quite like this band and quite like this album. I mean, I think this album is very much inspired by Japan, specifically certain Japanese anime like Princess Mononoke, which is a definite favorite of mine. No doubt that there's just the right amount of purple on this album cover. Great album. The next one is one of my favorite sludgy stoner doom bands. Hard to tell, but this is Grief's Infernal Flower by Windhand, a band out of Virginia, kind of close to me. And these guys play a very naturalistic, it's funny how that's a theme for these Purple albums, very naturalistic type of sludge and doom music. They're fronted by Dorothea Cantrell, who is just a phenomenal vocalist. Her vocals are absolutely haunting, and especially on this album, which is my favorite by them. Forest Clouds is just an absolutely amazing song. Crypt Key is great. Sparrow is phenomenal. And then, of course, look, Violet? Magenta? I don't know. It's purple enough. So the vinyl matches. But definitely check out Wind Hand. And I believe that's it. Thanks for watching. Cheers to Wandering Souls Webzine and Life Eternal.